checking out something that just happened in New York City recently. New York City was seconds away. So after the war going on, things have just been falling apart. Things have absolutely been falling apart. But this is Decoy Voice.
As the war continues overseas, we're now seeing in sanctuary cities like NYC, peaceful protests having attempted explosions by you-know-who shouting you-know-what. As Freedom News TV shows us these completely organic, not paid-for protests in New York City that the mainstream media wants you to think was just anti-war.
It's an anti-war outcry. People are holding signs, if I can show you a little bit, holding signs that say no new war, hands off Iran.
Completely missing the vigils they're holding for a religious dictator, oddly appearing to receive police protection, chanting for the end of American soldiers.
Make us proud!
Al-Qassam, you make us proud!
Another soldier now!
Another soldier now!
Al-Qassam, you make us proud!
Now, there were Americans chanting USA, but the NYPD appeared to protect the Ayatollah's activists. This is a common theme we've seen a lot lately. Angry anti-American activists chanting for the death of us, being strangely protected by Mayor Mamdani's NYPD.
I said it. He's finishing what started on 9/11. He's finishing it. There's no way you can be an American citizen and stand by listening to people just to degrade and hate the nation you're in. It is absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. I love where I am at. I love the nation I am blessed to be in. My father came here to have a great life. He's not a born native, but it's just like he struggled to get here. He worked here. He married a white woman to up his life. But it's just like one of those things. Just like you have to have pride. The problem is a lot of people, they either came here hating this nation, or they were born here and are told to hate this nation. When you should always have pride for where you come from. You should never denigrate it. You should always be happy that you were given life because of where you're at. You should always be happy because you have a chance because of it. You have a chance because of it. But all these people just see hate. Just see hate. And of course, if you want to see the hatred, you can easily spot it. You can always look out and spot the negatives in the world instead of just focusing in on like the good positives. And that's the thing people seem to have gotten away from, where they don't just like look at the positives. Like the whole joke about God is just like, oh, why does God allow all this bad stuff happen to me? Why this? Why this? Why this? Well, didn't you just like have something great happen a year ago? Where was praising God with that? It's like that kind of mindset. Nobody ever focuses on the positives. They only focus on the negatives and then play victim on the negatives. It's insane because for me, I feel like people should just be happy. People should just be happy. It's just like, okay, maybe we can question why did we do this? Maybe they have intelligence that we don't know. Maybe they'll come out with it later. But this absolute hatred towards the nation is just disgusting. Like, I'm not going to go to India or China or Russia and start denigrating the nation that I'm visiting, or that if I lived there, I wouldn't denigrate it because that's disrespectful to the nation. And here people live in the US and they denigrate the US and they've moved here. We have politicians in office who weren't even born on US soil. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just, that's tough. It's tough.
That eventually ends in Americans being arrested, as the local coppers eventually faced off with these leftist activists, all wearing masks dressed in black. So when the mob attacks, the NYPD has their back.
What's up? What's up? Hey! Stop it! Stop it! You're gonna hit me, motherfucker! Hey, don't touch me! Hey, I'm gonna touch you! Come on! Come on! Come on! Bye! You!
As this wasn't even the only instance of this.
Oh my gosh, he's wearing a freedom hoodie and of course he's getting harassed. Of course he's getting harassed.
On a public street,
Now you know how everybody feels besides you, white boy.
You're white too.
Now you're finally
What am I doing? You're gonna get hurt.
It's sad how much the leftist mob knows they control the city, as the cops keep telling the Americans to stop antagonizing the masked mob, as it's only going to make them attack. But you know what else would stop these violent attacks? Actually arresting the violent masked men. But sadly, after electing a left-wing socialist mayor, the left-wing mob knows they have immunity from Mamdani's police. Now eventually, a conservative activist arrived with a whole lechon.
Yeah, you're not gonna do on your mouth, you beta.
Yes, I am. Beta. I'm smarter than you. You measure things in terms of whiteness. I'm more white than you. I have more money than you.
Interesting how that angry dude, for one, embraced being a beta, but also inferred it meant he was smarter, richer, and whiter. As whenever white liberals get caught in the moment, they always seem to subtly reveal their own racism. But I'm a little less worried about modern day leftists and how they see their superiority, and more concerned about their enabling of actual terror attacks.
You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
Holy.
And after throwing the first device, he's later seen casually lighting another. Before finally being chased down by PD.
And then released a few minutes later. That's just how it's gonna work. New York needs to crumble. New York needs to crumble. How come there's a story almost every day to react? Yeah, it's gotten worse, especially after the war has picked up in these very liberal cities. It has gotten worse because the people who are for using their own people as a shield, as body shields, and sending people out to kill themselves in the name of a greater good, they feel like they have more protections because they're now in cities that will defend them and their actions. That's the thing. So it is just, it's getting more prevalent and nothing happens to them. They will get detained and released like 20 minutes later. Of course. Of course.
It's insane how quickly this escalated. From paid-for protesters holding paid-for signs, getting police protection, to chanting, "They want the demise of American soldiers overseas," then actually tossing what could have been anything into a crowd while shouting something meant to make you think it'll explode. And I don't think you get to this point without the police politely allowing them to attack Americans, only arresting them when they defend themselves, as Jake eventually had to get a police escort out.
This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully obstructing pedestrian traffic. You are ordered to disperse now to permit the safe flow of pedestrian traffic. If you do so voluntarily...
But it still didn't stop the mob from attacking his car.
That's a loan.
New York City doesn't even look like America anymore.
Nope.
Or it really seems like it's only gonna get worse. As how did the corporate mainstream media report on this? Simply brushing it off as a smoke-generating suspicious device, with ABC writing, one arrested for disorderly conduct, another
just a
arrested
smoke
for
bomb.
pepper spray, then saying two were accused of throwing a device, immediately stating no injuries. Wrapping it up with, this anti-religious rally was caused by a known agitator. And after I recorded the video, they've confirmed it wasn't just a smoking device, but a pipe bomb.
During protests outside of Gracie Mansion, from which footage of suspicious devices has been circulating on social media. Organized by individuals associated with far-right provocateur, a counter-protester, identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse.
A shrapnel bomb. He threw a shrapnel bomb into the crowd. These people need to be gunned down. They just, like, that's the thing. As soon as you see that threat, shoot them in the head. Shoot them in the head. They've lost. They've forfeited all right. I don't care if it's a kid playing a prank at that point in time. If it's escalated to a point where a kid can do a prank and it can be perceived as a threat, that kid should be taken out. You apologize, and then you point at the thing that they did, triggering the action. It is crazy. It is crazy. And of course, they're young, 18 and 19 years old. They're morons. They don't even have a developed brain yet because they grew up in a cult. They don't have an education. They grew up in a cult. They use the young because the young don't have a brain, don't have the ability to think for themselves. Yeah, and that goes on for years. Men don't have a fully developed brain till their 30s or like late 20s. And some guys never fully develop their brains. Let's be honest.
That could be lit.
There is a honest, moderate way to report on this, as it is fair to say, Jake is an agitator of a certain religion, but then don't completely omit how they tried to end him in what appeared to be an attempted terror attack. That's not even stretching the truth, they somehow choose for you to be oblivious to. Like how that flight to Florida got diverted to Atlanta so SWAT could sweep in.
Stand up. Everybody heads down. Stand up. Stand up.
But all the mainstream reporting shrugged it off as a security matter. And even though this video went viral beside it,
Shoot him.
this was actually from an incident in Europe, where the BBC shrugged it off as a disturbance, as apparently all they have now is airplane stock images. We don't have all the information about the incident in Atlanta, but we did see what actually occurred in Europe and what we just saw at the attack over New York City. But if it wasn't for social media actually showing you first-hand footage of it, you would just think an airplane had a disturbance, or anti-war demonstrations generated a suspicious smoking device. But the real issue is the right-wing agitator, as to be completely honest, I don't think it's smart to march a lechon into the mob, but I, like most Americans, should be more concerned over
Another soldier now!
Another soldier now! Come on, come on! Tell everyone else.
and basically everything the media is conveniently ignoring. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy for more.
I don't know how Decoy does it. I do not. I mean, seeing that stuff continuously, just it would ruin me. It would absolutely ruin me, because it's like the whole thing is just insane. And just seeing the news, the way the news portrays everything is just absolutely terrible. absolutely terrible. And I'm someone who said, it's like, if your personal beliefs don't mesh with the nation you're in, go to a nation which actually has those. I hate how people try to force their ideals onto a different nation. Like someone was saying Christianity is like a dictatorship or something. It's just like, I don't know what that's about. Christianity is dictatorship. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know what that's about. But the thing is, it's just like, people shouldn't be pushing their, like, I don't mind if there's like a mosque or a few temples or whatever in the US. I just don't believe that they should be trying to push their laws on a foreign nation. That's just not how it works. If you truly want your laws to be embraced by a nation, go to a nation that actually has those laws. And there are Muslim nations, there are Christian nations, there are Buddhist nations, there are atheist nations, and I guess US falls under atheist nation. But that's the thing, it's just like, you go there. Sure, you can travel to another place and you can try to be a teacher and educator, but you never try to go against what the nation actually stands for. It's just absolutely disrespectful. And proves that you do not belong. You absolutely do not belong. Because you can't be disrespectful to the nation you're in. You're in. Oh, that was tough. That was tough.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.